Today I'm going to teach you how to create a box and whisker plot so you will know how to read one. So a group of students was asked, how many letters are in your first name? And these are their responses. All right, so the minimum or least number of letters in someone's name is 3. I'm going to put a dot above the number 3 on the number line. Maximum or the most number of letters in someone's name is 10. I'm going to put another dot above 10 on the number line. The median, we have to find the middle of these numbers. So I'm going to cross off the smallest and the largest, the smallest and the largest. And I have to cross them off in pairs. If there's a lot of numbers, I can do multiple at a time. So I can do 2 smalls, 2 large, small, large, and we're left with the 5 in the middle. So 5 is the median. All right, I'm gonna put a dot above the number 5 on the number line. All right, so this 5 right here was the median. That was the number in the middle. I now have to find the median of these lower numbers. So small, large, we are left with 4 in the middle. That is called our lower quartile. So basically it is the median of those lower numbers compared to the original median. Then we have to find the median of the higher numbers. So we're going to cross off a small one and a large one, a small and a large, and we're stuck with 2 numbers in the middle. So we have to find the middle of those numbers, which would be 8.5. All right, before I plot those, because this is going to erase when I exit out of this, interquartile range is the range between these quartile numbers. So we're going to do 8.5 minus 4, which is 3.5. All right, I'm going to plot those points. So lower quartile at 4, upper at 8.5. So there's a point here. And then this one goes in between 8 and 9 at 8.5. Okay, so then I'm going to take horizontal lines and I'm going to connect the outermost dot to the next one in. Those are called the whiskers. There we go. And then the box will connect the dots that have the whiskers going out from them. So the whiskers are on the very outside. The box is in the middle, and then one final vertical line where that other dot is at. All right, so again, this one's the minimum, the maximum. We can subtract these to get the range. This point is the median. The median of those lower numbers is right here. This one is the lower quartile. It is also called the first quartile. And the reason for that is this box and whisker plot breaks up data into 4 chunks. So here's the first chunk. And a quarter is one of 4 equal things. All right, this would be the median. It could also be called the second quartile. And then here we have our third chunk. So it's called the third quartile. And then this is the maximum. All right, and then again, interquartile range, you would subtract the edges of that box. All right, what percent of students have 4 or more letters in their name? Well, since this is broken up into 4 equal parts, and each one is called a quartile, and a quarter is worth 25. Let me just dance a minute to turn on the lights. All right, so each chunk is 25%. So 4 or more, so we'd start here at 4, and it would be 25%, 25%, and 25%, which would be 75%. So even if this chunk here is smaller than this one, it still represents 25% of those student responses. So 75% of those students said that they had 4 or more letters in their name, according to the box and whisker plot. Now this is, of course, kind of like chunked, and it's like a summary, because if you actually look here, it would probably be more than 75. So it's not always that accurate because it's grouping the data. So this is really meant for if you have lots and lots of numbers to work with. Not always the greatest for fewer numbers, but it's still kind of fun to work with. All right, let's try one more. What was your score as a percent on the math test? All right, our smallest number is 72, so it's going to be a little bit past 70. The maximum is 98, so super close to 100. Then we need to find the median. So we're going to cross off the smallest and the largest. I'm going to do 3 smalls to save some time, and then 3 larges. Then a small, then a large. So our median is at 85. So one more dot here at 85. Then we need to find the lower quartile or the first quartile. So I'm going to ignore that 85. That was our median that we already have. So small and large, small and large. And so our next dot would go at 77. And then I'll just do the upper one at the same time, which is 94. 77 is a little bit closer to 80. And then 94. So halfway between 90 and 100 is 95. So I'm going to go a little bit to the left of that one. So the whiskers would connect those dots on the outside. So I like to do those first. Then the box connects those dots with the whiskers. And then that final line goes at that middle dot, which is the median. All right, so again, to get the range, you would subtract that maximum and the minimum. The first dot is called the lower quartile or the first quartile. This end of the box is the third or upper quartile, and you could subtract those to get the interquartile range. Let's actually figure that one out right here. So the interquartile range, we would have to do 94 minus 77. And if you didn't have a calculator, what I would do is I would count up. From 77 to get to 80, we'd add on 3. To get from 80 to 90, we'd add on 10. And to get from 90 to 94, we'd add on 4 more. So if we combine all of that, it would be 17. All right, and then each chunk of this is 25%. So right here is 25%. What percent of the students scored less than 70 on the test? Well, 70 or less would be over here. So that would be 0%. Nobody scored less than 70 on the test. All right, hopefully we can all be that for our unit test as well. All right, I'm going to add one here. What percent of the students scored, I'm going to say less than 85% on the test, if I added that question. 85% is right here. That's our median. So it would be this chunk right here and this chunk right here. That's kind of hard to see. Maybe I'm going to undo that and redo that again. All right, so it would be this chunk here and this chunk here. Each chunk is 25%. So 25%, 50%. Now, one more thing too, if you're asked anything about the mode is where most of the responses are, and that would be the smallest chunk because they're really condensed in a specific area. So looking at this one, I would say the mode is in between 94 and 98 because this chunk seems a little bit smaller than any of these. Okay, so mode is the chunk or the range where the gap is like the smallest in between those dots. All right, good luck today.